Good evening, stargazers, and welcome to Sky for November 2021. My name is Joe Grida. I'm the Technical Information Officer of the Astronomical Society of South Australia, and here to take you on a highlights tour of the November night sky. So let's do as we always do and draw the curtains on our night sky. Right. Our all-sky chart is showing Venus shining brightly in the western horizon soon after sunset. At the moment, frolicking in the star fields of Sagittarius. A little bit higher up in the sky, you'll find Saturn, beautiful ringed planet, and then Jupiter as well. So there's a great chance for you planetary observers to spend an hour or two examining these three jewels of the solar system. As we head towards the south, we find that the Southern Cross and the pointers are now almost at their lowest point in the early evening, and will start to make their rise up the southeastern sky within the next month or so. Canopus, shining brightly in the southeast, is now much higher than what it was a month ago at the same time. And of course, we've already started to see the likes of Sirius, Rigel, and the whole constellation of Orion starting to appear sort of mid-evening, around about 10 o'clock or so, and the Pleiades as well. The Seven Sisters are showing up nicely. Pegasus, the winged horse of Greek mythology, the constellation is very easy to see on these mid-spring evenings, low in the northern sky, and of course the farthest thing that you can see with the naked eye, the galaxy. Andromeda Galaxy, also known as M31, at 2.25 million light years away. So that's how far your eye can see. Overhead, we've got now Achernar shining brightly. I always use Achernar and Altair at the moment as my two alignment stars for my telescope. Of course, in another month or so, Altair would have set below the horizon, so I'll have to find another star to help me align my telescope. Let's move on. Our lunar calendar for November. The moon phases, we've got a dark sky, no moon in the evening sky between the beginning of the month right through until the 10th, and then from the 28th to the 30th of November, just the last couple of days of November, you'll get a nice dark sky again. But throughout most of the month, from the 11th to the 27th of November, you've got a bright moon in the sky. So restrict your viewing to moon, double stars, star clusters, and planetary nebulae, some of the brighter planetary nebulae as well. Our lunar feature of the month this month is the Atlas crater, which is this one here, and some of his friends over here that we'll talk about in a second. As you can see, the location on the moon here. So these guys are visible very soon after new moon, as the crescent starts to get larger. Best seen on day 3 and 4 after new moon. This month, 8th and 9th of November are really your best times to see these. And the reason I chose this view this month is that we've got around about 4 billion years of lunar history just in this area here, and we'll talk about them in a second. So let's move on. Let's start with the largest feature, Endymion crater over here. This reminds me very much of the crater Plato at the northern edge of Mare Imbrium. Endymion is 3.9 billion years old, so it's the oldest feature in this image. And you can see how the floor of the crater has been filled with lava and just paved it completely. It's nice and smooth. As I said, it really reminds me of Plato. And it's 100. I'll give you a sense of scale. It's 125 kilometers in diameter. Next one, Atlas itself. That's the crater. The crater here. This is estimated to be 3.2 billion years old. You can see it's a little bit smaller than Endymion at 87 kilometers in diameter. There are some volcanic deposits on the floor, and there are cracks in the crater floor as well that you can see through the telescope. Now, next crater is Hercules. 2.8 billion years old, 69 kilometers in diameter. Younger craters on its floor and on its terraces here as well. That now ends our trip through Greek mythology, because all three of these craters are after mythological characters from Greece. So we've covered 1 billion years there. Where's our 4 billion years that we had to cover? So much closer in age to us is a new kid on the block, and that's this little guy here. So to the east of Atlas, you can see this splat just there, very bright ejecta. It's estimated to be a little more than 100 million years old. So we started here at 3.9 billion years, and we finished up here at just 100 million years old. And the ray structure that you can see when we zoom in on there, you can see the rays coming out here from where the material was ejected. It's still very bright, indicating that it's a very young crater. It hasn't even got a name. We're taking our time. It's 100 million years old. You think we'd think of a name for it in all that time? Okay, most interesting thing this month in our evening sky is the partial lunar eclipse happening on the 19th of November. Unfortunately, we're not really that well placed here in Adelaide or anywhere in South Australia to be able to get a really good look at this eclipse, because the greatest eclipse will have ended just before the moon starts to rise. You can see here the path of the moon through Earth's shadow. The grey area here is the penumbra, and the red area is the umbra. That's the darkest part of the shadow. So the moon just makes it totally into the dark part of the shadow, but we don't see that. That will have already have occurred before the moon rises. So you can see here on the table, greatest eclipse is at 7:32 p.m. and moon rises at just 1 minute before 8 p.m. But this is the last eclipse you'll see until 8th of November next year. This is a snap or snip out of Stellarium, showing the moon just after moonrise, and showing you that part of the moon is already in the penumbra, and that limb is starting to get brighter. In case you haven't heard, the Astronomical Society is doing a live stream of the lunar eclipse on the Friday, the 19th of November. So make sure you tune in via YouTube or Facebook. It'll be live. We'll try and show you live views of the moon, the eclipsed moon rising. And then after we've looked at the moon, there'll be Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, star clusters, and nebulae and galaxies all over the place that we'll try and show you as well. Of course, all of this assuming that the weather cooperates with us. All right, our solar system for November. If we look at the inner solar system, you can see that from our position here, looking towards the sun to the other side, we've got Mercury and Mars. That's why we can't see them at the moment. They're on the other side of the sun. Venus is very nicely placed for evening observation for us. I had a look at it last night. It's just past its half illuminated phase. As we head out towards the outer solar system, Jupiter and Saturn are still nicely placed for viewing in the evening sky. Pluto is not far from Saturn, so if you've got the time and the inclination after you've looked at Saturn, get yourself a decent star chart showing you the location of Pluto now, and see if you can locate it. Uranus and Neptune are so much easier to find. You'll have no trouble finding those guys. In a couple of days' time, on the 8th of November, soon after the sun has set, you got a lovely view of the crescent moon and Venus in the western sky. Make sure you have a look at that. So zoom in there a little bit. I think from memory they're about 4 degrees apart. A crescent moon and a brilliant Venus always makes a lovely view in the sky. So make sure you have a look. And of course, the moon being such a thin crescent, do take the opportunity to have a look at those craters that I mentioned earlier, and have a look at the part of the moon that's still in darkness. You should be able to see some features on there just from Earthlight. And there's an enlargement of Venus showing you it's almost half. I was going to say half moon, half Venus phase. As I mentioned in one of the other skies for the month, a month or so back, Jupiter and Saturn are still beautifully placed in the sky to have a look. And if you've got some coloured filters, do use them because they do certainly enhance the view of both of these planets. Using a dark red or an orange filter on Jupiter, especially, it cuts down a little bit of the glare from the planet and enhances the view of the belts. So certainly have a go. And there's a good link to a great article down on the bottom of this slide. Another event for you to look forward to this month is the Leonid meteor shower. Meteor shower is associated with the material left behind by Comet 55P Tempel-Tuffle. It orbits the sun every 33 years. The last time we got a really good view of the Leonids was back in 2001. Not expected like that one for another 10 years or so. At that time, we had hundreds of meteors per hour. This year, I would expect 15 to 20. Best way to do it is find yourself a nice open sky with a good view to the east, because as the name implies, it's the Leonid meteor shower. So the radiant for that will be in Leo, and Leo is still quite low in the morning sky. Best time to go out there is about 4 a.m. on the 18th. That's when its peak is. But if you've got a clear sky the night, the day before or the day after, certainly go out and have a look as well. Get yourself a nice lounge chair. You can just lie back and gaze towards the east, where Leo is rising, and hopefully you'll see some meteors. Unfortunately, the full moon, or almost the full moon, is in the sky at the same time. But whilst you're looking to the east, the full moon is behind you, very low in the western sky. So it shouldn't make too much of a difference. Certainly not shining directly into your face. So have a go at the Leonids. Probably the best thing to do would be set up a camera, open the shutter, and leave it open, looking to the east, and go back half an hour later and see what you've captured. There's a view looking east northeast. There's Leo rising, and the radiant of the Leonids is right inside the head of Leo, the line. You can see it's not very high above the horizon. That's why I say you really do need a clear eastern horizon to pick those up. This is not happening this month, but I thought I'd give you a heads up. Coming late December, it's predicted that we're going to have a nice bright comet in our sky. If you haven't heard of it yet, this is Comet A1 Leonard, discovered on the 3rd of January this year by Greg Leonid from the Mount Lemmon Sky Center in Arizona. The comet is making, the first trip that we've ever seen of it, because it does have a very long orbital period, estimated to be around about 80,000 years. So it'll be its first trip that humans have seen it into our part of the solar system. It's a very, very fast mover. It's currently traveling at around about 250,000 kilometers per hour. The fastest spacecraft that mankind has ever built, the New Horizons spacecraft, has reached around about 145,000 kilometers per hour. This is doing 250,000, almost double that speed. So it's moving very, very fast. And when it does appear in our evening sky from the 16th of December onwards, low in the western sky after sunset, you'll actually be able to see it move within an hour or so across the sky. It makes a close approach to Venus on the 18th of December at roughly a distance of 4 million kilometers. Hopefully, that little gravitational tug from Venus won't cause any great distortion to its orbit. As I said, for us, best time to see it is from the 16th of December onwards, as it's rising up the western sky. It's expected to reach around about magnitude 2. We should be able to see it naked eye with some tail. Everybody's saying it's going to be the best comet in well over 10 years. Reminds me of Comet Lovejoy back in 2011. That was a Christmas comet as well. So where will you see it in December? This is a picture of the comet from a week or so ago, taken by Michael Mattiazzo using a remote telescope in New Mexico. The comet is currently visible in the northern hemisphere skies. As I said, we won't get to see it until mid-December. So as we're looking towards the west at 9 p.m. on the 20th of December, there's the comet, and it will make a nice triangle with Venus and Saturn. I'm sorry, I told you that Pluto was close to Saturn earlier. I meant to say it's close to Venus. Just a line of sight thing. But yeah, Pluto is close to Venus. So see if you can have a look at that. But on the 20th, the comet, Saturn, and Venus will make a nice triangle. So see if you can catch those. A double star for the month. This month is Gamma Arietis in Aries, the ram. Very easy to pick out Gamma. It's also got the name of Mesathim. I forget. I think it's Arabic name. It's a lovely double star. You've got a white and a blue star. Make a separation of 7.6 seconds. So even a small telescope, a 60mm refractor or a 4-inch Newtonian will easily split these two stars. They've got a combined magnitude of 3.86. Individual magnitudes are almost identical, 4.58 and 4.64. Easily separated. A white and a blue star should look really nice in the eyepiece. The orientation of the two stars really hasn't changed much in living memory, because the period is well over 5,000 years. So the separation between the two stars must be quite large. And as I say there, recommend a low power, around about 70 times. Should be able to split the two stars with a black gap between them. That's all that you want to do. You don't want to separate them too far. Just enough to see a black gap between the two stars. That's where you get your best view. In our evening sky, looking towards the northeast, there's a great square of Pegasus that we were talking about earlier. There's M31, the Andromeda Galaxy. Aries, the ram, is just over here, slightly further to the east, and Mesathim is the brightest star of Aries. It's just at the very top there, where the red arrow is pointing. Our deep sky objects of the month. I had a look at this one just on the weekend. And couldn't resist adding it to this list for this month. This is the face-on spiral galaxy NGC 1566 in the far southern constellation of Dorado. That's this area here. This is the Large Magellanic Cloud just there, so it's not far from the Magellanic Cloud, and this is Canopus over here. So it gives you an idea of roughly where you are in the sky. 1566 is just a glorious sight in a telescope. Anything above 8 inches in a dark sky will start to show you those spiral arms. It is actually a beautiful sight, and not that difficult to see. It's quite large, 6 by 8 minutes, so it's quite a large object. And there it is in the southeastern sky. There's your large Magellanic Cloud. There's Canopus down there, still low in the sky, and that's where you find 1566. Definitely recommend it. Go and have a look. A lot of people don't look for galaxies in the far southern sky. We're always looking much higher in the sky and towards the equatorial latitudes. As a closer view of that area, you can see here that 1566 is not the only galaxy in the area. Each one of these little elliptical circle ellipses, red ellipses, also are galaxies that are easily accessible to a smallish telescope as well. So spend some time having a look. 1672 here, NGC 1672 over here, is quite a nice galaxy, edge-on galaxy for you to look at as well. And here's a close-up view of NGC 1566. Obviously, long exposure photograph. You won't see it like that in the eyepiece, but you will get the idea of these spiral arms, these two bright ones here. You'll definitely see those from a dark sky. From a suburban sky, you'll just pick up the fuzzy nucleus of the galaxy. So, as someone else used to say, that's your lot for this month. Again, just a reminder that many of the sky diagrams that you see, I generate using Stellarium software. Download it; it's available free and for almost any platform that you care to use. Any questions? Don't hesitate to email me at technical@asa.org.au. I'll happily answer them for you, and keep track of what the Astronomical Society is doing by following us on YouTube, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and also have a look at our website for the latest announcements as well. So happy stargazing. Get out there, and now that hopefully the weather is improving, this cloudy weather will disappear, and we'll be able to get out there and get some starlight into your pupils. Until next month, we'll see you later. Bye.